Yeah, hi. Am I speaking with Trevor?
Yes, this is.
Well, I'm Dale from New Zealand, calling up for an interview.
Killer, man.
Are you there? Can you hear me clearly and all that?
Yeah, you're loud and clear, man. It's pretty good.
All right, cool. So, first of all, how's it going with yourself and the band at the moment?
Good, man. Things are starting to get exciting around here. We had a long break. We pretty much played our last show in November, and we have a new album in the works. We are in the mixing phases right now of that, so that's pretty exciting. And then we are gearing up for all these tours here, and we have a little bit in Europe right before we hit Australia and New Zealand. So excited to get back out there with you guys. It's been a while.
Cool. Good to hear there's a new album on its way shortly. Is there anything I guess you can tell us about the album? I know it's I'm gonna give spill the beans to sound like me, but I don't know. Is there anything you can tell us?
They obviously write about the details. I can't spill the beans too much, or the label will totally rip my nutsack. It's awesome. I love it, and we kept the drums natural. The instruments sound a little bit more natural this time, and pretty excited about that. And I don't know. I just feel like it's the best thing we've done, man. I know that's what every band always says about their current record, but why else would you even bother if you didn't think it was the best one? If you wrote an album and you really looked at it and went, I think the last one was better. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to work. But so yeah, we're pretty excited about it. I think it should be out either early in the fall or late in the summer, and it hasn't been hammered out yet by Metal Blade, but we'll know soon enough. And so things are getting exciting, man. That break we took was literally the longest we've ever been off tour since we started touring in 2003. So that was well needed rest, man. Let me tell you.
It must have been weird having that much time off, just chilling out at home, recording the album, that sort of thing.
It's definitely bizarre because you go back to the normal world and you just have like crappy normal world problems. You know what I mean? Like your mom is calling you and annoying you, and stuff like that. Stuff that while you're out on the road, you just kind of I don't know. You just kind of get into that zone of being being in a metal band and stuff. And then being off the road for so long is pretty humbling because nobody has told me I'm cool in like months and months.
Well, I guess being a sort of interview radio type person, from my side of things, it's nothing to the scale of your touring around the world and for months on end. But it's always kind of funny when you get an interview with a big name, like Tom Araya or whoever, and directly before and directly after you're changing nappies, sorting out the laundry, that sort of thing.
Right. I mean, I'm definitely at the laundry level, but Tom Araya, come on, somebody's got to do Tom Araya's laundry just out of principle, man. Come on. What kind of world is this?
Yeah. With their new album, if I get time with him, I should ask him, see if he has an answer for that. But anyway, you're coming to New Zealand. Tour support has just been announced.
Yeah, that'll be I think it's our third or fourth time in New Zealand, and I'm definitely excited to return there. It's a beautiful place. It has a killer metal scene too. I mean, there's a lot of you got Ulcerate and lots of killer black thrash bands and Dawn of Azazel, and so I'm excited to go out there for sure.
I've seen you wearing New Zealand metal band t-shirts and sort of the YouTube interviews that they have. I think a recent one I saw you wearing Diocletian.
Yes, those guys rip so hard, dude. I saw those guys twice at Maryland Death Fest, and goddamn, they're so good. But yeah, man. So you guys definitely have a legacy of that kind of stuff, like Bastille, black thrash, kind of, leather-clad, studded kind of, I don't know, Australia has a lot of that same thing too, you know what I mean? And I guess it's somewhat stemming from bestial warlust into Destroyer 666 as far as Australians half of things goes,
In terms of Australian bands, I'm quite liking King Parrot at the moment. It's, I've got some awesome videos.
Yeah, and they're definitely picking up a lot of attention outside of Australia, and their live shows and their reputation precedes them, for being so freaking crazy. So that's pretty awesome, an awesome reputation to have garnered.
All right, so when you come down, you're popping into Wellington as well. Have you been there before? I guess being mainly from Auckland, I don't really sort of focus much outside of that, I guess.
No, we've been to both before, the Wellington as well. But I imagine, I don't know if they have us in the same exact place, but it seems like we're always going to the same place in New Zealand. We played the place with Ulcerate once. That was awesome. Those guys are freaking amazing.
Yeah, man. I think you're going to a similar place. Same place I've seen you in Auckland before, but in Wellington we have Mckellar. He's down there. He did the album. He did artwork for the last album. You probably run into him when you're there.
Yeah, dude. I'd love to meet him, dude. What a talented bastard, man. That album came out awesome, dude. And he's beyond talented, man. He's something else. Disentomb's artwork as well that he did. So I'd love to meet him. Hopefully have a beer.
All right. So how does that come about? Funding someone from New Zealand of all places. Is it something you guys put forward, or is it like a label thing?
The artwork has always on my back, and it's a responsibility that I enjoy very much, and especially now that we've gotten older and we have a substantial budget to get artwork, because in the early days I wanted an awesome painting, but we just couldn't afford it, you know what I mean? I just wanted to find somebody that wasn't used in metal, overused, and it seemed like most of Nick's stuff was in the world of fantasy, you know what I mean? Like doing stuff for Lord of the Rings and Magic and role-playing games and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a world that also, I've always been drawn to the artwork from that kind of world as well, ever since I was a little kid. So, and you just seemed like the right man for the job. And really, it was when I saw the Vomitus Empires of Great Enslavement cover that he did, and I was like, wow, that is just so awesome, man. So I thought, bringing an artist as talented as him and having him do something from the old school of death metal, like it was supposed to be like a Left Hand Path, but on steroids, instead of a cemetery planet, So it was kind of an awesome marriage of what's old and what's new, and I'm really happy with how that came out. And now we're on to the new record, and we have the artwork brewing for that. It's a different artist and everything, but it's definitely big scale and something to be excited about as well. So, like I said, being the guy that gets to pick this stuff out, it's definitely one of my favorite parts of the whole thing. Like I enjoy doing being responsible for that kind of representation, and I try to keep it just somewhat classically death metal for the young kids, because I realize we're a big gateway band for a lot of people, and maybe even the first band they've heard with blast beats, or so we try to present death metal, with what we like about it, what was up to it, I still get off on death metal artwork. I still get excited about it. I still follow all the artists and stuff. It's always been an exciting part of things to me.
Awesome. So it looks like I'll be looking at picking up the vinyl for this next album then.
Yeah, man, triple gatefold, buddy. It's gonna be a real humdinger.
All right, so you guys put out albums pretty much every 2 years or so, at a steady rate. Now, with them, do you consider, especially given the state of things as they are these days, Do you consider albums to be more of an investment where you're not making money so much, but it obviously opens up more avenues for touring, merch, and all that sort of shit?
It's kind of like, yeah, we are on a schedule of 2 years with our albums, and I think it's been really the best idea for us is to keep things fresh for the fans. New artwork all the time, new T-shirts, new songs to be excited about. Hopefully, just especially in these times where music is so readily accessible. If you have a computer, you know what I mean. You could steal an entire genre of music in one day if you worked hard enough. So I think it just makes music much more disposable to the youth these days. So for us to kind of stay fresh in their mind, we have been working at this accelerated pace for the last 10 plus years, And for us now, it's just normal, but I think there are bands that would probably have a panic attack if they were trying to write an album in the amount that we write it in, but it's just par for the course, man. We want to stay relevant and stay fresh in people's minds, and being available to tour and be everywhere on tour has been the best kind of advertisement for the band. It's definitely been the right path for us.
Cool. Given that you've just been through it, this process of putting together a new album, and you do it so regularly, what is the process these days? What's the creative process that you guys go through at the moment, compared to how you started?
Well, it's pretty much the songs are written in isolation by either guitar player, and they'll be sitting at home working on a song into the Pro Tools rig. By the time that we hear it, it has fake drums that sound pretty realistic, and both guitars and bass. So we're hearing very, very developed ideas. Whereas when we started, we were like all in practice together trying to jam. Everybody's playing a different riff, and you're just kind of like, trying to force things together. So, I guess around the third album, we started doing this, getting acquainted with Pro Tools and demoing that way. And it's been definitely more fruitful and the songs have became more developed and stuff. So basically, the guys will be writing songs. They'll send a song to me, an MP3, and I'll go, sweet, this is awesome. Then they'll finish the song. Then I'll sit in my underwear with it and write lyrics, And it's been pretty much that process for the last handful of albums. And I like how it goes now. I like starting with a really high quality demo. It just I don't know. And it ends with a better result, I think, than when we used to just have crappy boombox recordings, where everyone trying to play a song in person, So, in reality, we don't even play the songs together at all until after the whole album's recorded, which may sound insane to some people, but that's just how it works these days.
All right. So here's a question about music in general, again, I guess people, perceptions thereof. Now, it occurred to me a little while ago, when you see online forums and all that sort of stuff, about fans conflicting over bands and albums and label titles or whatever like that, and sort of thinking about that, I was just wondering if people aren't mixing up or having different views in terms of music being a commodity, just something to be consumed or whatever, or as opposed to it being sort of the art form that it is, the sort of art with the depth and the context of genres and blah 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 that it has. And I was just thinking maybe a lot of this conflict is due to that sort of misunderstanding, maybe.
I think that really that's what separates metal from a lot of other genres, is that the way it's taken so seriously. And pop music is consumed, and it's shit out just as fast. You know what I mean? Like, people like the song for 3 months, and then it's on to the next garbage. Whereas a Metallica record, from 1983 or something, it still means a lot to people. It still means just as much. You don't throw away, your metal and go on to the next metal. You know what I mean? It doesn't really work that way. So, it's crazy how passionate people are about metal. And I guess I'm one of them. I guess I've given my whole life to this, and I go around the world basically camping, and so all for metal, man. But it's been a blast. It's been the most exciting time in my life, the most fruitful time in my life. And whereas in high school I was like super introverted and kind of like one of those guys that just you don't even notice, you know what I mean, because he's so passive and quiet, to really finding my place and finding my strength and finding my everything. I was a late bloomer, so I'm having a blast out here in the metal world, to say the least.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have. Thanks so much for talking to me today, and good luck for the upcoming tour, and hopefully catch you down here in New Zealand.
Cool, man. Yeah, we'll have to hook up with Nick, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, no doubt he'll be going to your Wellington show already, but I'll give him a heads up that you're coming and looking for him.
Right on, man. Well, thanks a lot for the press. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. My pleasure. Anyway, thanks again, and catch you later.
Right on, dude. Stay cool. I'll talk to you.